Imagine spending your entire career chasing one thing, not a trophy, not a record, one specific tournament, one specific moment, and then imagine being told that the window might already be closed before the tournament even starts. That's where Cristiano Ronaldo is right now. And before you say he'll be fine, he always finds a way, stick around. Because this time the problem isn't his legs or his age or even his form. The problem is the system itself, and it's more complicated than most people realize. Let's back up. The 2026 FIFA World Cup is happening in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. It's the biggest World Cup ever. 48 teams, expanded format, more slots, more drama, more chances, and Portugal qualified. So Ronaldo's in, right? Not exactly. Here's where it gets interesting. Ronaldo is 41 years old. By the time the 2026 World Cup kicks off, he will be one of the oldest outfield players in tournament history. Now, age alone doesn't disqualify you from anything. We've seen it before. Players compete deep into their 30s, a few push past 40. But Ronaldo isn't just any player pushing past 40, he's Cristiano Ronaldo. And that name carries expectations that a normal 41-year-old simply doesn't have to deal with. He's not just trying to show up, he's trying to be the guy, the main event, the reason Portugal wins. That's a very different problem. So what's actually threatening his dream? A few things, and they're connected. First, form, not his form at club level. At Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia, he still scores goals, plenty of them. But Saudi football isn't exactly Champions League football. The quality of opposition, the pace, the tactical pressure, it's a completely different world. And international football, World Cup football, is the highest pressure environment in the sport. In theory, goals are goals. A player who scores stays sharp. In practice, there's a growing argument that the Saudi League doesn't prepare anyone for what international football demands at a World Cup. And Ronaldo's critics have been making that argument louder and louder. Second, Portugal's squad itself. And this is the part that doesn't get talked about enough. Portugal isn't just a good team anymore. Portugal is genuinely talented. Like, embarrassingly talented. You've got Bruno Fernandes pulling strings in midfield. You've got Rafael Leão on the wing. Electric, unpredictable, terrifying to defend against. You've got Pedro Neto, João Felix, Bernardo Silva, players in their prime at elite clubs, performing at the highest level week in and week out. And then there's Diogo Jota, a clinical striker. Consistent, professional, Champions League pedigree. The Portuguese squad has essentially evolved into a team that no longer needs Ronaldo to be the solution. They might actually be better in certain tactical setups without him playing his traditional role. This sounds harsh. It isn't meant to be. It's just football math. Here's where it gets really uncomfortable. Roberto Martinez, Portugal's manager, he has a decision to make. And it's one of the most politically charged decisions in world football right now. Do you build your World Cup system around a 41-year-old striker who is the most decorated player in your nation's history? Or do you build it around the younger, hungrier players who operate in Europe's best leagues? You know the type of decision this is. There's no clean answer. Every option costs something. If Martinez leaves Ronaldo out or reduces his role significantly, the backlash would be enormous. Ronaldo has the most passionate fan base on the planet. The headlines write themselves. If Martinez builds around Ronaldo and it doesn't work, the criticism goes the other direction. Why was the system shaped around sentiment instead of tactics? Neither path is safe. Only one of them gives Portugal the best chance of winning. And winning is the point. Because let's be clear about something. Ronaldo has won almost everything there is to win in club football, multiple Champions Leagues, multiple league titles, the Ballon d'Or 5 times, records that may never be broken. But the World Cup? 0. That's the gap in the trophy cabinet. The one thing that separates him, in certain conversations, from the very top of the all-time debate, and he knows it. He's said it publicly. This tournament means everything to him, which makes this moment particularly difficult to watch, because the dream is real, the desire is real. But desire and eligibility aren't the same thing as being the right tactical choice for a team that actually wants to lift the trophy. In theory, a player of Ronaldo's caliber never truly loses his value. Experience, leadership, set pieces, big game mentality, these things matter. In practice, the World Cup moves fast. Groups are compressed. Every game is high pressure. And if a striker isn't hitting his peaks in training or in matches leading up to the tournament, managers notice. Selections shift. This isn't speculation. It's already happening in conversations within Portuguese football circles. The debate about Ronaldo's role, starter, super sub, leader from the bench, has been going on quietly for a while now. It's not quiet anymore. So here's the real question. Can Cristiano Ronaldo find a way, one more time, to silence everything and be the player Portugal needs at a World Cup? It wouldn't be the first time he defied logic. The man has built a career out of proving people wrong. He's done it so many times that doubting him almost feels naive. But this time, the doubts aren't coming from his opponents. They're coming from inside the building, from tactical reality, from the fact that football has moved, and the squad around him has evolved into something that might not need him the same way it once did. That's not an insult. That's actually a tribute to how much Portugal football has grown. But for Ronaldo, personally, it's the hardest version of this challenge he's ever faced. We started with one question. Is Cristiano Ronaldo's final World Cup dream in danger? The honest answer is yes, not because he's done, not because he can't play, but because for the first time in his career, the circumstances might not bend to his will. The squad is too good. The tactical questions are too real. And time, the one opponent Ronaldo has never been able to outrun, is finally making its presence felt. Whether he gets his moment in 2026 or not, and I genuinely hope he does, this chapter of his story is one of the most fascinating in modern football. A legend at the end of the road, fighting for the one thing he never got. If that doesn't grip you, I don't know what will. If you want more videos breaking down the biggest stories in football, simply and without the noise, hit subscribe. New ones coming soon.